Hey YouTube, today we're taking a look at LEGO lighting kits because we're looking at the Briksmax Blacksmiths lighting kit. In today's episode we're going to be talking about lighting kits. Now I've wondered about lighting kits for some time now. Some look a bit over the top for me, but I've always wanted to be able to light up my city and modulars, so when Briksmax reached out and offered me a lighting kit to try for free, I thought what a great way to test if lighting kits are for me. As always, remember to hit that like button so we reach more people on this channel, and hit that subscribe button with the bell notification turned on to be notified about future episodes on this channel. So if we take a look at their website, which is at briksmax.com, and I'll put a link in the description below. When you visit their website you do weirdly get redirected to a different website, but they do have a full range of different lighting kits. You can get numerous kits for LEGO sets that are new and old retired sets. Depending on the size of the set or the lighting kit, the prices do go up, and the lighting kits are generally quite expensive as you'd imagine. Briksmax are also available on amazon.com or .co.uk, and I'll put a link in the description below to the kit we're going to be looking at in today's episode. Speaking of which, let's get back to today's episode. So we're going to be taking a look at this lighting kit. You can see here from the box that it's well packaged, and on the front you can see that the set is a kit ready for the blacksmith set. So in our episode today we're going to be looking at how to install this in the LEGO Ideas Blacksmiths shop. In this set we'll be able to light up the horse and cart, the tree, and also inside the building itself. At this point of the video you do have a choice. You can watch the extended real-time installation of the lighting kit by following on this video from now on, or you can skip ahead to the speed build chapter where I've sped up the experience and you can watch it at a faster pace. Now's your chance to make a choice. So here's the lighting kit then from Briksmax. As you can see, it's nicely packaged up. It's quite in a very small box. You've got the nice picture here on the front of the actual kit we're working on today. So we're going to do the blacksmiths, as we've already mentioned. On the back there's some warnings and some other links that you can get to have a look at other offerings that they do within this range, and there are quite a few, so I'd encourage you to check out briksmax.com, or even on Amazon they sell them on there. So let's just open up this packet then and we'll see what you get inside the box to start us off. Nicely clean filmed up. Just take that, throw that to the side, put the knife out of the way for safety reasons, and then let's open up and see what we've got inside the box. So you can see we've got some manuals here. There's a couple of books, quite a few in there actually, three or four books inside here, which will give us step-by-step instructions hopefully on how to put the lighting kit together and sort of dismantle the existing set to incorporate it in. There's this nicely bubble wrapped container then, and if we open up this you can see there's all the different packs of lights and wires I think that we're going to need in the build. So you can see they're all numbered here. They've got 30cm warm white daylights written on there. You've got 15cm warm white dot lights there. So that on each of the bags in here we've got the little description as to the colour, the length of the wire, and there's a little code there which I'm hoping will probably correspond to what the instructions say inside the box, so we know what to stick where. There's also a little quality control sticker there to say that it's been passed and it's been tested, and there's more details on the back. So you've got lots of these little packs inside here. Of course we've got a battery pack here, so we do need some A4 batteries. I'm guessing we'll probably need about 4, but we'll see when we get to that point, which will power all of the lights. There's also, it does include a remote control here, so you don't have to fiddle with the model to turn all the lights on. They've got different modes and different intensities of lights just to turn it on remotely, which is quite nice as well. And then the rest of the bags are just little bits which have extra lights in, more wires, quite a few different types. So we've got battery holder again, we've got some USB adhesive squares. There's quite a big variety of things inside this pack. So what we'll do is we'll open up the instructions and hopefully that will guide us through how we put all of this together. And then let's crack open with the manuals and see what we've got inside here. So these are stuck down in a plastic container. Here's our user guides. We've got that new smell about them. We've got a user guide inside the box. We've got a service card here which just thanks you here, and it gives you some information here on whether you're happy or not, and if you're not happy with them, then what to do, how to contact them, how to phone them on WhatsApp, how to email them, whether you want to go to social media and talk to them as well. So there's lots of different ways to contact them. It's quite a good quality piece of cardboard there. Then we've got a number 1 and a number 2 book as well. So inside the user guide, let's see what we say in here. So it says bit lights can be placed either on or between studs of the Lego pieces, and there's some examples here of how you may place them so the wires don't get caught up. They've also got strip lights which have self-adhesive backs which can be used to stick onto Lego pieces directly. Cables should be laid between 2 studs of the Lego piece to avoid damage to the cables and lights. So you don't want to be sticking any wires over studs and then sticking bricks on top, because that can sever the wire, because the wires are quite thin obviously, to make them hidden. And here's an example of what not to do, where you've laid it over the studs, and how you should do it normally. So you're going between the studs when you're sticking it. It says connectors can be inserted to ports of the strip lights in only one way. If you force it, you may damage the plug in the connector. So these are the connectors here where we're connecting all the different elements together. Connectors can be inserted to ports of the expansion boards only in one way, to make sure you face the plug the right way before connecting. So they've really thought about the end user experience here, so that you can't get mixed up and stick things in the wrong place. You just need to make sure you're not too heavy handed in pushing things in, because if it doesn't feel like it can go in, it probably shouldn't go in. And there's a tip here that says our team is dedicated to producing high quality products for all of our customers, and therefore we want you to know that cable colours of this product has changed from black and red to black and grey. These changes do not affect the performance of the product. So at some point there were different colours. So I suppose some people may have a different mixture of colours depending on if they were old or new products, but they're saying don't worry about that. That's just a modification that's been made. And at the end here there's some troubleshooting, so just check your batteries, check some other things to make sure you're connected correctly in case you find any problems. So that's what's inside the user guide there. Put that to the side, and then inside book 1, this is where we're actually concentrating now on the sets that we're looking at. So the Blacksmiths LEGO Ideas set is what we're looking at, and here it's just giving you again guide on the remote control that's included here, so you can turn the lights on and off. You've got different modes here for A, B, C, D, which are allowed to switch between different lights combinations inside the set once it's all set up. And then there's a plus and minus brightness here, so you can dim or you can brighten it up as well. And this is only, it says here that this remote is only compatible with this receiver, which is also included in the set. A reminder about how to connect it, and it's breaking through how we're going to work on the sets as we go through. And then there's some more details here. So here you can see we'll start off with the horse and carriage, and we'll be lighting that up first, and then these are all the steps necessary to add additional lights throughout the set as we go through it, including the tree, as you can see here. So we're going to have to deconstruct some elements and rebuild some other elements. There's lights from the outside and then going into the roof. So this booklet is going to do so far of the set, and then we'll open up the second booklet, and then we'll finish off building through the other light sections there as well. So let's bring the set forward then, and I suppose we'll get building. So first off, we're starting fairly easy, and we're going to look at the horse and carriage that we've got here in the set. And as you can see by the instructions, we're actually going to put a light in the lamp that hangs to the side of the carriage. So if we take this off, we just unclip that. I'll just push this to the side for now. And then in here we've got a simple little lamp build with an antennae, 1x1 with the clip, and then a little lamp piece. And what it's saying is, in the instructions, we need the part called A04. So because I've taken this out and reorganised them, we need to find A04, which is this piece here, which is a 15cm warm white dot light. So let's take it out of the packaging. Be careful here, so you can see how small these little elements are inside the pack. Oh, and there's actually multiple. It's not just one piece inside the pack, we've got 4 little pieces here. And so what it's saying to do here is we need to take the lamp out, which is probably easier said than done, to be honest. add the little colour piece out here, and then we pass one of these wires through like this, through the middle of this piece here, up until we get this little LED in there. Then we pass this other connector through the side of the lamp piece itself, so we've got it totally going through here. And then when we get the lamp in there, then we just connect that like so. So we've got the wire coming out here, and then when we connect this back, it's suggesting that we just wrap the wire around the antenna like this. So it looks a little bit messy, to be honest, in terms of the appearance. So we're probably gonna, maybe the wire won't be so noticeable once we've attached it to the cart, but we've actually entwined it around the cart itself. Then we need to bring the cart back in, and we connect this to the cart as it was earlier, so hanging off of the side. And then we need, I'm just going to pop these bits back into the packet. So we'll need these in later parts. And then we need D01 and G01. So G01 are some adhesive stickers. We'll get them out, kind of. We've got these little adhesive tabs here. And then we need G01. D01 even. So we've got the 6-port expansion board piece here. So you can see how small these little pieces are. And then this we're going to take and we're going to connect the end of this to the first port like so. So that end of that wire is now, even though you may not be able to see it, connected to the little port piece here. I'm going to need 2 adhesive squares. I'll leave them to the side a second, but they'll probably go on the bottom of this. And then we need an E03. Which is this piece. And this is a battery holder again, but we're holding a small round disc battery in this one because this cart is going to stand alone essentially from the main build. You can put a couple of round disc batteries in this, and this can hide inside the cart itself. And so what you do here is we remove this shield on this side of the cart here, where we've got a piece with 2x2 studs, and we feed the end of this battery pack through the holes completely, which is easier said than done. So we feed that through, so that this battery pack is actually going to sit then inside the cart like this, kind of. It's a bit of a tight squeeze. It needs a little fiddle. Then the wire comes out this side. So we've got the wire over here with the port, and then we've got a wire coming out for the battery pack. Then we flip the cart over like so. So just put the two sticky pieces there on that side, and then it's showing, we need to unravel a little bit here because we've gone a bit too tight. We'll stick this to the bottom here and then connect this piece here, which is the power. To the other ends. So we've got the light connected this end and the power battery connected this end. And then we just want to take the adhesive sticker off on the other side. Like so. And then we can stick it, hopefully, to the bottom of this cart like so. And if we flip this over, we can stick the shield back in to the carts. I've probably not done the best job of hiding the wire here because there's probably scope to continue it up, but then on this side it kind of looks like that, and then you can kind of see the wire hanging down there. And what we'll need to do is stick some batteries in here and turn it on. It should light up the little lamp here. So I've just got some of these batteries here to use for this. So they're asking to use CR2032 for this particular one, and we need two of these. So I've got two of these batteries to put in. Just get these out. Luckily I had some already. So let's just try and lift this out again, and then we'll see if this lights up, and it does. So if you look here, you can see the little lamp is lit up quite brightly, which is quite nice. So that works. So I've wired that up quickly, and there's a little on-off button, which isn't great quality, but so this isn't part of the remote control, so you do physically have to switch this on and off. But you can see here, this is it off, and then there it's with the light on. So that's the first part of the carriage complete. So we'll stick that to the side. Next up, we're going to start looking at the actual blacksmith itself, and it looks like we're going to be looking at the tree to start with. And we'll take the some of the floors off here because we don't need to worry about that yet. So we're looking at the bottom here, and what we're going to be doing, if I just move the archer out of the way, is we're going to start in this section around by the tree. So first instruction here is to lift up. There's a little leaf shoot down here at the base of the tree, this little piece here, so it's saying to pull that out. So I've done that, and I'll put the piece back in. And it wants us to pull the tree itself out here, so I'll pull the complete tree out as well, put that to the side. Wants us to take these few tiles which will go around the base of the tree out of the way as well, and then finally it's asking us to take the roof off the well, so we'll just take the roof off the well as well, and including taking these two sticks from the two clips that are in the roof as well. So next up we need an 804 wire. if I can find that. These A03, A04, which is what we were using earlier. We've got one of these wires, 15cm warm white, and what we do is we're going to be sticking this in between the two hooks on the roof of the well. So the well's going to be lighting up slightly, and we'll pin that into position by hopefully pushing this. Oh, let's try that again. We'll wedge it into place by using the 1x3 rods. So you can see the little light pieces hanging there just above there in the roof, so that's going to light up. And then it asks us to put the roof back onto the well. So we do that with the wire hanging out the back over here. Then it asks that we fold the wire quite sort of intrinsically between these bricks here, again trying to not put them on any studs, but between the studs, and then we'll fix back in the tiles we took off earlier like this. So now we've got the wire running underneath here, and now we've actually got to do quite a big job because we've got to take the tree apart again. But before we do that, let's just put this little stalk piece back in there as well. So we put that back, so you can't really see the wire that's been put into the well at the moment. Now we're going to have fun dismantling this tree, which I'm not a great fan of, to be honest. Even in the main build was a little tricky, so I'm not really looking forward to taking this apart into bits again. But we do have apples that light up on this as well, so they've got little red lights to go on. So we'll take each of these branches off, like that. So we've taken that tree completely apart now, and then we need, which you can see here, which are 37 red dot lights. Four in this pack, so it's all of these in the pack. And then they do include this extra pieces here which we'll need, and I think in this one we'll need 4 1x1 round dot pieces, which are hopefully in here. So yes, you can see we've got 4 pieces here. These are actually, according to the logo on the pieces here, so I think we've got some proper Lego pieces, which is nice to see. So let's just put these other pieces back in the pack for now. So this is what we're going to need. So first up, we're going to take one of our trees here, and we're going to take one of our wires with the red lights on, and then underneath each of these trees there's actually a free stud here, and so we're going to be sticking this light dead on top of that stud, and then the idea is to place one of these red dots over the top. So it's a little fiddly. We've got that like that. So we've got the red stud there, we've got the light underneath it which is clipped in like so. And then with the wire, unfortunately, we just need to wrap it around the branch several times. And how many times you might need to play with this to see how many times it needs to wrap round. So I'll just stick it like that for now. Put that to the side. We need to do that 4 times. It's the same approach for each of these branches. Take one of these. These red dots, stick on a red 1x1 stud. Like so. And then we're just wrapping some of the wire around the branch. Do that like that for now. That's another one. Now we've got the third one to try and do. Which is done like that. Let's wrap this round. And the last one. Went in quite easily this time, and then we'll just wrap this round. So those are the main 4 branches. Now with lights attached at the base. Right, so then we take this piece with the frog and we stick one branch in the front here. Coming down here between the 2 studs there, and then again one. This is about hiding the wires now. Got to be careful not to allow these to go over the studs and get severed. So these wires are now hidden underneath this side, and on this side we do the same. So we would just remove the target piece. Just like that. So I think that goes on like that with one piece on that side, I think. We'll see. I might need to fiddle with that in a minute. But now we've got these 3 wires hanging down, and then you get an 807, which is a green dot light, 30 centimeters. We want 2 of those, which we've got in the bag. And we need 2 green 1x1 dots. There's 1. There's 2. And just untangle these two wires here, like so. And we take this main central piece here, and on one side we stick hard to say which side it is, but I'm going to go with this side. Same approach again, just put the green dot in the middle and then put the green one by one round over the top and connect it in like so. And then we do the same on the opposite side. So the green light goes on the opposite dot, stud, and then we stick another one by one green dot on top. So we have these two now hanging down from this tree. Then we actually hang two branches. So earlier, I think when I did this one here, so when I did that one earlier, I did that incorrectly, so I'm just going to take that one out, push this back in. Probably is one of the most fiddliest trees. Probably the only downside to this set was this tree for me. I just find it very fiddly to put together and also just to display because bits fall off it all the time. So we'll stick those two on like that. Just going to unravel a bit of wire. So now we've got this wire coming down. Basically we've got lots of wires. We've got 4 wires coming down to this central point here now. And then that all goes on top of the tree like this. So we've ended up with lots of wires hanging down onto this tree now. Like so. Need a little bit more. Bit more length. Bit of length from this tree. The wire's not long enough. So we'll hang those down, and what we're going to try and do now is just stick this piece into here and here. Tidying the wires up. The same over this side, so we've got quite a few wires hanging down from this tree now, as you can see. Probably far too many, to be honest. I'm not sure if I'm a lover of this particular design that they've done here. and then we're supposed to stick these back on. I think I've probably on some of these branches not done the given enough slack on the wire. You need to have quite a bit of length here because it's going to run around the back of the blacksmiths. So I'm just going to extend the length of my wire for this part of the tree. Connect that back on. In terms of getting used to a lighting system because of how fiddly this tree is. But then we just connect this back into where it comes from. On the side then we've got all these wires hanging around the back now. Probably missed one here that I should connect back in, but we'll do that in a bit. We've got all these wires hanging down here now at the back, which is where we're going to connect to a D03. Which is a 12-port expansion board that sits in the back. And then we're going to connect all of these wires now. So fiddly. Right, there we go. So we've connected all these now to a plate at the back, and you can ravel up depending on how much excess you've got around this plate. And in the book it says to then stick this to the back with some stickers. So let's just get some more. During this build you may actually benefit from getting some tweezers to pull off some things, unless you've got some longer nails, because it is a little tricky. And then this sort of sticks at the back like so. So you can see if I tilt this up, we've got these. We've got the board stuck to the back there like that, using those sticky tabs I've just put on. Next up, we're going to be taking off this top piece here, which we'll need a brick separator for, I think, like so. And we're going to be sticking a light in to light up this bottom area here, which is kind of like a little cellar space. So we'll be putting something onto here. So what we need for this is we need a B7 item, one of these warm white strip lights, get one of those out, which has got adhesive on the back, and we need a D5 wire, which is just a connecting cable, 15 centimeters here. Need one of these. Like so. And to start with, we just take this connecting wire and we'll just plug in the end of this wire like that. And we do get a 1x4 brown plate in here. So we just get a standard 1x4 reddish brown plate, and what we're going to do is we're going to stick this to the bottom of this. So we pull the adhesive off. Hopefully now we've done the tree, these other lights are easier to connect. I did not like that tree section, and you might be best just to skip it completely, to be honest. So we'll just stick this into there. So we've got this strip light stuck to the bottom of this plate, which is connected, and we'll just connect that into these studs underneath, like so. In fact, you might want to, for our purposes, stick it the other way around. It's hard to say which way in the instructions some of these things are set. And then we'll stick this back on top, making sure that the wire doesn't get snipped off, and it comes out like that. So we've stuck a strip wire into there now with that wire hanging off. Okay, so now we've finished with the bottom section for a bit. We're going to swap over and we're going to bring in the next level to add some more lighting to it. Just push this out the front, and we'll bring back in the main building here, and we're just going to take off the top level. I can remember how to do it, just like that. So this is our next section to look at, and so the first bit up here is just to take the a couple of sections off, and now we're going to take off this front chimney area here. So just to remove this area here, and actually to take out all of this sort of chimney space here, taking out more than I should have done. So let's just put these pieces back like so. So you ended up with those pieces there removed, and then wants us to take off this roof here. I can't remember how to do, just like that. Take off these side pieces and take off this clip like that, and that should be connected still to the roof. So let's just make sure that's connected back. So we've taken the front slanting roof off here. So let's just push this to the side a second, and this is where we're going to start concentrating on adding some more lights to the front here. So we're going to take off this front sign here, and we're going to take off this 2x2 inverted round disc Then we're going to get another additional Lego piece. They've given us a transparent 2x2 inverted piece here. So we're going to swap the black piece out for that so we can add a light in. And then we need a piece called A34, which is this piece here, which is a 30cm warm white dot. There's only one of those. So let's just untangle this, like so. And then what we're going to do is we're going to stick this in the middle here and stick over top our 2x2 inverted, so you can see there's a little bulb there now that shines in the middle there, and that wire just trails up like so. On the sign now, we're actually going to add a couple of lights to make it look like there's some torches either side here. So again, we need some additional pieces. We're going to need 2 of these 1x1 with handle pieces, 2 orange pieces and 2 clips, the rest back in the bag. And we need 2 A3 pieces, which are the 30cm warm dot pieces, and we need 2 of these. If you do get these wires mixed up, they are actually printed on the wires, so if you do get muddled up, on the back of the light it's got the actual number on it, so it's got A03 written on the back, so don't worry if you do get mixed up. But in terms of this next section, we just put the wire through the gap in the handle there. So we're going lightweight through to the bottom of this piece, and then the light is actually going to shine in here, and into that then we just stick one of these 1x1 orange pieces. So we've got the little light going on there, and then we can just add our clip onto that. So we do that twice, so we just do that to the other piece. Clip, and then onto the light we'll stick these clip pieces onto these like so, just angle the light down. These do look a little questionable in terms of the time period and will we have these lights, but I think they try to make them look like flames or torches rather than lights themselves. So now we've done that, we can connect our sign back to our roof like this, and then we just need to make sure that the wires are running straight down the back. So we've got 3 wires now hanging out the back like that. Our piece here, there's some clips here which we need to clip the roof back onto. But eventually what we want to do is we want to run the wires inside the blacksmiths, so we put all of them to one side where we attach the roof again and clip that in. Just want to make sure where is it coming up. On the right side, and that we've connected that in properly. looks to be. You can see that the wires now are coming just on the side here into the blacksmith's eating area. Then we want to be sticking this back in, and on the inside we want the wires to be on this side here, and then we can connect back those pieces there and then the pieces on the side. So these wooden beams which are on the side here connecting the roof to the chimney can go back together. So there we go. So now we've got no real sign that there's any wires hanging in there, but they do come out on the inside like so. It does have them then running over here, over where we've got these two studs coming across. And while we're over in this vicinity, just put these wires down here for a minute, there is a lamp actually outside here, and we are going to adjust the lamp. We'll just take off this 1x6 and this 1x6 reddish brown plate there, or tile, and we're going to need an A4. And while I'm here, I'm just going to take off this lamp as well. It's the same lamp that we did on the horse and cart as well. So one of those standard kind of lamp pieces. So we get an A4 here. It's one of these. Take out the central point of the lamp, the yellow piece. Try not to smash it up. And just feed the light wire through again till we get the light part in the right section, and then just feed that wire through, and then we'll just connect that up like that. So we've got that again. And if we just connect this lamp back to the outside, just wants us to run this wire then along the edge of this where these tile goes in, which is a little easier said than done, to be honest. We'll just stick that like that. So we've got the wire coming on the inside now that feeds round from the lamp there, so it's kind of hidden with those pieces. And then we need a D2, so this is another connecting panel, so we can connect all these wires up together now. That's the last of one of these. So one of these smaller connection panels. Again, we'll stick some sticky pieces to the back so we can stick it to the internal workings of the model. And we'll leave the other sticky bits on for a second, and then we just need to connect pieces that we've just done to this panel. Just got one more to stick in here. So that's that. So all of those are now stuck on together. So that's the end of that book. It doesn't tell us how to connect, how to stick this final panel. So let's just see if book 2 tells us. Yeah, so book 2 is telling us just to ravel up all of these wires, and we'll actually stick this panel just above the doorway. So you don't want any wires visible on your doorway, then you can ravel these up. I don't think I'll be too bothered about having wires in my area because I'm not really going to display this open. So I'm just going to leave mine as they are, but I will stick this panel above the doorway. So that sticks in like that. And now while we're on the inside, we're actually going to do some additional lights for the candles. So we've got 2 candles that are sitting here either side. So we're going to take these out from either side of the window, and we're going to light these up as well. So we get some light inside the building. Again, a little bit tricky to take these off. So what we need is we'll need additional pieces here. So we need 2 1x1 round pieces which they provide. Like that. And then we need 2 A4 wires. So there's one, and I think I had the second one I did. I left that by accident, so there's 2. It's the last of those. And then we'll stick these black pieces to the bottom of the candle to start with. And what we'll need to do is we'll actually we'll put the light at the base of the wall where the bracket here is connected. So you probably can't see it really well on the screen, but these candles are connected to brackets. So the idea is you put the lights on the bracket facing upwards, and then we'll stick these candles on top of it. As you can imagine, it is highly fiddly. So there's one. Seems like a fine line between pushing it in firmly and breaking the light on the wire that the light is going to. This one is going to be particularly trickier because it's by the stairs. So just to make it easier, I've pulled the stairs out because I was struggling to get the light in the right position. So I'm hoping now I've got some more room here. It will be easier, but we shall see. I think that's kind of done. It's either that or I've actually broken it, so we'll see. So I'm just going to put the stairs back again. Like so. So now we've got those connected in. Then actually wants us to take both the wires in the instructions, as it says, and sort of combine them, so twirl them together. Kind of like so, and somehow feed them under the stairs. What I might do again is just take the stairs out again, which is a lot easier than trying to feed the wire through in the right place. So just like that. So now I've fed the wire through and it can hang up here for a second. Next up we need another D1, so another connecting panel. We'll stick some stickers on the back here, then we'll connect the 2 wires to this panel here as well. So now we've connected that panel up and stuck the sticky pieces on, we just need to stick that now to the wall inside again. So we've got another connector thing over here. So that's that level done now. So now we'll put that to the side and we'll bring in the next level, which is going to be the roof, and we'll be starting to light up some of the roof section. So first off we need to remove the chimney, take the chimney out like so. Ooh. We'll take out the roof itself like so, and we'll remove this section here as well. Once we've done that, we do actually take off this other roof over this side, so just move that, and then spinning this round, and keeping this there actually, we take off this central piece as well, like that. So we've taken all of that area now off of the top roof area, and we also take off this roof section at the end here as well. We're just taking off these beams on this section here. It's taking off too many white bricks there, so just putting them back onto that. So we have deconstructed this section quite a bit. So first up we need an A03 piece, which is a 30cm warm white dot, which is the last of those. So you need one of those, and we do need another 1x1 round black piece. From our bag of spare parts, or additional parts. And first off we just need to stick our wire through, so we end up with the 1x1 round and a light in the end there, and that connects onto the bottom of this extra area here. To make like a extra light that we'll see on the outside of the building. Just make sure it's positioned correctly. So that goes on to the bottom of that. And of course it needs to feed in. Of course this section here, so I'm just going to connect that back in like so. So I'll just stay there for a minute. Then ask me to take this 2x2 off and just position this wire around one stud, and then just connect this back up so it's held into place like that. So we've got this wire now firmly connected. Run it along to the other ends and then just curl it around the first stud, and again just to fix that 2x2 at the end. So we have the wire running along the top out of the way. Then it needs a 1x4 reddish brown plate, additional piece, B7, which is a warm white strip light, and a D6, which is a connecting cable. Then we'll stick one of the connecting cables into one end of this B7. Like so. And then just connect it to the bottom of this 1x4 plate by taking off the sticky peel. And we'll just connect the wire coming down here to this other connector. Like so. So you stick the 1x4 plate connected with the light strip onto the bottom here of this main strut here, and then you just need to, next step is just to bring the wire down, remove this panel at the front here. As we bring this down past this area here, and then just connect that back on like so. Set the wire, kind of try to trail it as you can down the side of the bed. And then what we do is we just replace all of these parts that we took off at the start. Put these beams back on. Just like that, and then we stick these middle sections on like that. So that's that part. Then we need to move around now and take a look at the fireplace, which is at the front. Just remove these pieces here. So we've got the flame and an angled orange transparent piece. And then we need an A12, which is a 15cm yellow light. It's only one of those. And we stick that underneath this cheese wedge, straight into the middle, like so. So that's going to light up our fireplace. Then we'll just trail the wire out like so. And that's that piece. So then we just move this roof to the side for now, and then we bring in this section of the roof, turn it over, and we're going to need a B7 piece, which is a warm white light strip. It's the last of those. And we need a D5 wire. These are 15cm connecting cables again. We just connect the connecting wire to one end. Let's make sure it's connected there. And then down the bottom of this side, we're going to just going to stick this to that part of the roof, so we're going to get some light shining outside. Let's just remove the adhesive on the back here, like so. And that's just going to stick on just like that on the base there of the roof, so we can light up outside, and that wire just comes out from the side. And if we bring back in this roof piece, and we have this piece, we want to connect the fire piece that we just put in to the other end of this connector that we just added to the roof. like so, and then this part of the roof can just be connected back into place like so. We've hidden the wire from the fire there. Then tipping this over, we actually remove this long brown plate here, and with the excess wire from the fire we actually just readjust what we did earlier. Should run this underneath inside, so we'll just tip this over again, and then we bend this wire so this plate can just secure it like so. It's hidden underneath like that. So moving on, the next bit is we have to look at the chimney breast. So we need to take apart some of these pieces here just to start lighting up and feeding the wires down into the chimney itself. So what we need to do is take off the top chimney stack here, take these pieces apart, these black elements off the top here. So we've got these pieces like that, and then we need some A51 pieces, which are 30cm white dot lights, and we need 2 of these. There's 2 in the pack, so we need both of these then. So it's just on like so. That's the end of those. So we've got none of those left. And then what we need to do is we'll feed the connector end through these chimney pots like so. And you need to feed them through until you get the end of the light at the end. So it's going to sort of shine up at the top. And then we just put the black piece on top here. And what we also need is, from our bag of extra pieces, there are 2 1x1 round trans clear pieces. So there's one there. This has got to stick on top of this chimney stack so that I suppose it shines up when you can see it lighting up. So that's one. We'll do the same again for the second chimney. Put it all the way through till we get the light facing up. Stick this piece on top and then a transparent piece, so we've got that all the way through there now. So with that, turning this round the back, we actually then stick these back on top of our chimney with the wire facing down like this. We've got to do this for both, so have this hanging down like that, and then it asks you to take it to the side, take off this 1x4 and actually feed the wires down between these 2 studs here, and then replace this tile on top like so. We're gonna feed these wires through the gaps in the roof, basically where the little panel pieces that we rest the roof on. It needs to feed through that. So let me just take this off. You can see here how fiddly this whole process is. So what we need to do is we'll need to feed this through there and down the roof, and we'll have to attach this back on. So this will go back on here, and these wires need to come down, so they're not going to be stuck on with any studs, but the roof weight here is going to hopefully keep it all in place. So and then we're going to do this more effectively. So stick the roof back on, and then we'll stick the chimney back on. So that was probably much more difficult than it needed to be honest, but we've got the wires hanging out over here now as per the instructions, and then we can put back in the sort of area that comes out here, fix that back into position. Now we've put the roof back in, so that's all together there. And then on the other side, just make sure the wire's hanging out here, and then we'll just stick this roof piece back into position as usual. So there we go. So now we've got all these wires hanging out of this roof. Now it's going to be interesting to see how it all sort of comes together to be hidden in a second. But next up we'll need, got a light grey plate here, but it's only giving me dark grey 1x6 plate, so I don't know if that's significant or not, but we need a B02, which is a warm white light, one of these, and a D05, which is a 15cm connecting wire. And as usual, we'll flip over this plate, remove the adhesive, and stick this to the bottom of the brick or the plate like so, and then we'll stick the connector in like that. So now we've got this connector piece, and then we'll need to get the bottom of the blacksmith. So let's just take off that second level, and here's the bottom again of the blacksmiths. And at the rear here, we want to connect this wire that we put in earlier into this panel here. Let's connect that, so we've got something like that. And then very difficultly we're going to turn this second level upside down, and then we're going to stick this, and I won't do it all the way because bits will fall out, but basically that 1x6 plate we're sticking right in the middle of this base plate. I don't know if I can see, it's kind of stuck here to light up the bottom level, and this will go back on when we put this together. Come out the back of the structure, because then it's got to connect into the connector which we stuck right back at the start. It will hopefully probably go back in there. So next up, before we get too far, is we need a D5 wire. It's one of these 15cm connector cables again. We connect that into our sort of, let's make sure I stick this on. We stick this connector cable into this other panel that we've stuck up here. Like that, and then we're going to take off one of this tile piece here. We're going to hang the wire down here, And what you can't see here is then you'll need to take off the external tiles we've got, creating the kind of mock Tudor effect on the outside here, which is an arch and a 1x4, and it wants us to feed this wire all the way down so we'll feed it between the studs as it's showing, and then we'll replace the tiles back to secure the wire in place. Kind of helps disguise it a little bit at the back. And then we can just connect this top one again. So that's gone down the back. And it's suggesting that actually we can connect this to this frame at the bottom, but by my reckoning it's too short. So I've just unstuck it to connect it to this panel at the back. We'll have to raise up the panel a little bit here. Let's make sure these are connected in. Hang on, there's another one here that we did earlier that needs connecting. So that's that connected, all in the back here, so it'll be stuck into this panel which you can't really see, but there's that panel we built earlier stuck to there. So all the wires are going in there. Next up it's saying we need the control panel, F7, which is a receiver board, and then we're going to need some sticky tabs that we used earlier, like that, and we need 4 of these into each corner of this responder, this receiver unit here, to make some more room so you can see a bit better. So there we go, we've stuck all four of these things now onto here, and then we need to, I'll stick that, so I've got to take all the other tabs off now. This sticks directly to the wall at the back, just above where we just connected all the wires in. So this plugs into that connector just to turn everything on. So going to stick this at the back, and then we need a D4, which is a 5cm connecting wire. So it's a very short connecting wire here, and then that's going to go into the panel at the back here somehow. So that's connecting now into the panel at the back, and then we need to connect that into this, into the receiver panel, like so. And then I need a all wired together now, so it's tricky to see. Hope I haven't gone wrong here, but we'll see at the end. Into the receiver panel, that coming out. A D6 connecting wire, which comes out of our next level that we had up here. So it goes into that wire, and then this wire connects all the way down here to this other receiver. So we're just connecting now all the different sort of circuits so that we can do the different modes, if you like, for when we do put the lights on. Right, so that's that connected. Just saying about taking some of these tiles off here and feeding the wire down. So we can hide it on this level as we come down. I won't stress too much about hiding it because it is at the back on my one here, and then we need to have another 1x6 plate here. Just going to have another strip stuck to it. See, I do appear not to have a missing wire, so I won't be able to do all of the lights here on the top level. So we'll have to ignore that, but I'll put the roof back on. And we'll take a look at the CO2, which is the battery pack, so we'll get some batteries for that, and that's going to connect into the bottom of the receiver. Okay, so that's in place. You do have the ability to actually connect not just the batteries but the USB connector, so you can connect this directly into a laptop or some sort of power supply if you wanted to, and you can get those as well, I think, from the website. But we're going to stick with the battery pack for this one. Now I do have a random connector here, which I'm guessing needed to go somewhere, which I've probably missed somewhere, but I'm not going to connect it for now. And of course inside the remote control they haven't provided you the battery for this, so you will need to provide your own battery to get it to light up with the remote control, and they also don't obviously provide the battery for you to use in the power pack, so you do need to get those. So I'm just going to go and get 3 batteries now and connect it up, and then we'll see if it works at all. I've got a few missing wires and the hanging out wires, so it's going to be interesting to see how this looks in a second. So I've put the batteries in now into the power pack and into the light switch here. I've got lots of wires pretty much everywhere, to be honest, but there's a few hanging out which should be connected in some places, I think, and aren't in others. But when I press the on button, I'm not even getting the tree to light up, which I know has got all the right stuff in. So I've failed here in my long attempt today to put lighting inside the blacksmith shop. And I think the thing that gets me is that it was a really fiddly and annoying experience to put lighting into a Lego set, and I think really this has kind of put me off ever trying to purchase a Lego lighting kit because it's too fiddly. The instructions, although kind of are clear, it's just not very good. You've got to deconstruct all of the set, you've got to move all the wires around and try to thread them through some finicky kind of like tight angled pieces. You then put it together. You can see some wires, even though there's instructions about how to hide some, and I know I haven't done a particularly good job of some of this here today, but even when you're following the instructions you can still see wires on the instructions that are being shown. You can't really take the set apart now because different wires are connected throughout the fabric of the building, so taking off one level means there's a wire that's caught somewhere, and then if you pull that then you're losing the connection, and so you break the circuit, and so it kind of just takes the fun really away from the Lego set. And I'm sure lots of people out there have lit up their sets and have really enjoyed the experience of putting it together, But I think the lighting kit for me just isn't the kind of experience that I want from a Lego set. So I probably won't be bothering to purchase any of these kind of lighting kits unless Lego release one themselves that's much more straightforward and doesn't require maybe so many wires. Maybe there's a wireless option that we can get out in the future at some point where you can have wireless LEDs that are connected via Bluetooth to an app or something that allows you to turn lights on. That would be really cool. So maybe we'll get something like that, and the battery will be in the brick itself. So for me, it's a no-go. I mean, the quality of Briksmax seems to be really great actually. The wires, the circuitry, the connections are fiddly as I said, but I'm sure people that are into lighting kits will enjoy this. I've had all the parts that I needed to put it all together. I did have to supply the battery, so negative for me was the amount of batteries that were needed. I mean, I wouldn't mind so much filling these sort of AA batteries myself, but the fact they don't give you some of these batteries, some of the round disc batteries inside the kit is a little disappointing, and it wouldn't take too much to include those, I think, especially at the cost that these retail at. So overall, that's my experience. I hope it's been beneficial to you in some small way, and you've kind of seen the way that you have to go around deconstructing the set and rebuilding it again to get the effect if you want the lighting in your sets. So I think I'll probably leave it there for my failed attempt, but good luck for any of you out there, and also stick some comments below if you've got alternative lighting kits that you think, having watched this video, are a lot easier to put together than the one that I've been trying today. If you've just watched the slow build or the fully extended build, you can skip from this chapter now to the summary chapter and see the summary of what we think about this lighting kit. If however you skipped the slow build, then follow on from here on to watch our sped up installation.
No. So overall, here is the finished installation. As you can see, it seems a bit of a failure. There are various wires hanging out all over the place and it doesn't really look too clean. From this experience, I've definitely discovered that lighting kits really aren't my thing. I should really probably stick to building the sets. Perhaps the lighting kit I chose was particularly difficult, or maybe starting with something easier would have been a better idea for me and my skill set. But the quality of the lighting kit does appear to be good, even to my novice lighting kit eyes. I did seem to be missing a wire, but that may be because of my poor installation techniques, and Briksmax support certainly do seem to be responsive when you reach out to them. As you can see here, when we dim the lights and turn on the set lights, I've failed miserably. Not one light comes on, so I'm very disappointed with my construction. But it was a learning experience, and probably one not to be repeated. As mentioned in the extended version, if LEGO do release lighting kit in the future, perhaps I'll try it again. It would be great to see if there's a light brick that can be connected to Bluetooth and can be controlled easily from a phone app, so maybe the battery can be contained within the brick. But we're nowhere near that yet. If you found this review helpful, do hit that like button as it may help us reach other people, and hit that subscribe button with the bell notification on to be notified of future successes and failures on my LEGO journey. And until next time, stay safe and I'll see you then.